Gremlin!
The double inside, pushing forward.
I was just looking for the sports channel, Gremlio.
Win.
海賊ならヨーホー踊れ叫べヨーホーさあ今肌の元へ本性海賊だ出航踊るアホイに見るアホイ
Welcome everybody to part 2 of our hololive figure showcase. We just did Aqua a little bit ago. Now we have a whole lot of woman in our favorite Fujoshi Toho pirate cosplayer, Houshou Marine and Aqua. But yeah, I mean, one thing I always like to lead with is the presentation of the box, and holy crap, this box is huge. One thing I mentioned in the previous video was the fact that this box doesn't have a window like a lot of other traditional anime figure boxes do. Oh, hello, bear. And it doesn't have, like, you know... Thank you, bear. It doesn't have, like, a door that can be opened up like my Ramelia Scarlet figures do, where you can actually see the figure itself. It's like, this is very good presentation on the box. You know, the front looks great. The side, a close-up view. The other side, a different close-up view where you get a really nice look at her armpit. The top has her name. The back, you know, it's all solid. It's all, it's not amazing. It doesn't, you know, really push any boundaries. It is a box, but, you know, we look at the box anyway because it's part of the collectible. It's part of the collection. The box doesn't really do anything new, exciting, impressive. It doesn't have that window like I was talking about, so you can't really actually get a look at the figure inside, which, I mean, we're going to open up the box anyway, and this is a huge box. Like, I knew it was going to be big, but I didn't realize it was going to be this big. Wowza. Oh, whoa. She's got the hat separate, she's got the cape separate, which I understand why you would want to do that. But, like, this is... They could have used a lot less packaging, let's be real. They could have used a lot less. Let's crack this cold one with the boys. Yeah, I forgot to do it with the last video, but I like to explain the reason why I get some of the figures I do. And, you know, I got Marine because, you know, she's one of my favorites. She's not the favorite, but, you know, when I saw this figure... When I saw this figure, it was kind of one of those, like, wow, this is amazing. Like, I kind of need to have it. Instructions, because we might actually need instructions for how she gets put into all of it. Like, the stand is huge. The stand is huge. Marine is wrapped up in a lot of plastic. Her skirt comes up. Oh my goodness. Like I said, she is a whole lot of woman. I was not exaggerating about that. You can get a real good view of her ass. Holy crap. This is going to take a little while to unwrap the plastic, and I don't even know how much of this is going to make it to the video. Let's get the stand out of the plastic, so we could actually use this bag as a garbage bag. Now that I'm fiddling with this figure, I'm wondering, geez, where am I gonna put it? She is big. Like, what's the scale on this again? It's like a 1/6 scale? 1/7. God damn. And of course, we're gonna have all of her accessories. We need the hat. And we need the cape. And this kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. Or rather in my other video about how like Nendoroids, their packaging has gotten smaller and smaller. While these scale figures, their packaging seems to have gotten bigger and bigger. That does not bode well for me as someone who collects a lot of figures and has no room in his apartment. But wow, wow, wow. Like, this is a lot. Like, this cape is massive. It looks so good, though. But, you know, first things first, without any of the bells and whistles, let's put her on her stand, get a good view of it. And you know, her skirt can come up too, which I don't mind that. Don't really care for it either, but, you know, it does show off that it is a separate piece, which means you have to take her apart if you want to take off her skirt. And you can just have her like this on your anchor, which I am not gonna do, even though that would be pretty sexy, you know, and you know, the wife wouldn't mind that much either. But let's actually read these instructions on how to put her together. Let's see. It looks like the cape, she doesn't actually wear the cape. Okay. And it even shows you that you can take the skirt off too. But instructions say the first thing that you do is you put the cape on this little peg back here, which that's a, well, I said little, that's a big peg. Feels pretty sturdy, pretty stable. Like, just can't even rock it back and forth. Oh my, dude, this looks fantastic. Oh my God. Let's see. Next part is putting her on the pegs and then leaning her back so she's sitting on the anchor. The pegs are a little too far apart, so you gotta spread the legs a little bit. There she is in there now. Her skirt still moves around, which I kind of don't like. I like all of my pieces to remain stable. Okay, the hand doesn't grip the hat, but it does work as an anchor for the hat. So a little bit of setup time, but wow. This is big. I like this. Yowza. Like, you can do it without the coat, you could do it without the hat, but that's what I bought it for. I bought it for the coat and I bought it for the hat. I bought it for this big, you know, anchor stand on the beach. I have no idea where I'm going to put this bitch, but, you know, wow, where do we even begin with her? Do we start with the coat because that's technically separate? Do we start with the hat and the hair because that's also technically separate? You know, what is it with me and liking marine-based girls with twin tails and massive honkers? But honestly, I have no idea where to begin on this figure. This is big. This is beautiful. This is fantastic. Like, wow. I can't find more words for it, but this, just right out of the box, God Damn. First impression, though, like saying goddamn, I love and I hate the wink. I'll get to it a little bit later, but we know that she has heterochromia, and I would have liked to see the heterochromia, but the wink is also sexy, so forgivable, passable, we'll take it. But, you know, it's like, do I want to see both different colored eyes? You know, that's a fetish. Do I want her winking at me? You know, that's cute and flirty. You got to trade it off. But you know what? I think, I don't know where to begin on this. I think we have to just start from the very tip of the hat to the very tips of her toes, her boots. And, well, let's start with the hat here. Now, the hat, it is very easy to come off. It is very easy to detach. It doesn't really, like, sit on the hand and on her head all too amazingly. Like, it's supposed to be a little off kilter, and it's not like it snaps into her hand. So, you know, you could have the hat sitting at a couple different angles and it would all work. It looks like it's supposed to be at a bit of an off angle from the looks of the box, but you could also just have it sitting on her head a little more normally. But it's, if you look on the inside of the hat, the mold of it is, you know, it shows you where, like, the line of her hair is supposed to be. It shows you where, you know, the hat is basically supposed to be resting. And, you know, that is a bit of a guideline. It does work, the way it sits on her head. But I mean, if you shake it a little bit, it's gonna move a little bit, which, you know, it shouldn't be that bad, especially if you place it somewhere solid, somewhere safe. Because this is a big, solid figure. Like, this stand, she's not moving. I think this is the biggest stand for any figure I have. And I'm just taking a quick survey at my display cases over there. I don't see anything bigger than this. And, you know, that should be relatively stable. Now let's go into the details of the hat. Like, there's a lot of really nice folds in the hat that show that this is made of material. The pattern is, you know, it's a pattern. Not too much to say about that. It looks really nice. And even with the gold edges here, it looks like, you know, there's that crimping where the stitches are supposed to be. And I like that little touch. It's not just a plain gold border around the hat. There's, you know, little crimps every so often that kind of show off the folds of the hat, how it's meant to be sitting, that kind of thing. It goes all the way around, and, you know, it just looks really good. I don't see any obvious paint errors. Like, it's weird because there's a lot of very thin lines here. There's the gold into the black trim into the red inside of the hat. And it's all very delicate and all well crafted. As well, we have the little heart on the front of her hat over here. You know, it's all looking fine, nothing inoffensive, nothing offensive. There is a little bit of paint error, like the gold bleeding into where the black should be, but it kind of goes all the way around. And this is something that you see on, you know, a good majority of figures, is when you have these little details that are supposed to be next to each other being painted like this, then it's gonna bleed over. It doesn't look that bad. It's quite all right. The little flare coming off of her hat, like the silver or the gold looking hair, it fits in the hand, and it looks like it's coming into red near the tip, which is interesting. I would need to see Marine's full design again, but it looks fine. It looks good. Again, nothing really too standing out about it. It just looks like hair, like the molding for hair. Don't really see any painting errors with it, no sculpting errors, and, you know, the hat looks fine. Now, I do want to take a few pictures of her without the hat so we can actually get a look at the top of the head and what's going on around the top of this head. And, you know, it's pretty standard. Her hair looks fine. The bows into her cute little side tails. We're not going to spend as much time on her twin tails as we did with Aqua because hers are much bigger. But, you you know, these little twin tails, it looks like she's in motion. You know, the cape flowing off of her back, it looks like she's moving forward, trying to, or no, the wind is blowing back and she's trying to keep her hat on. That's why she has her arm back like that. And, you know, I don't really know what her eye patch is doing there, but the details in like her hair, it's, you know, standard. The color gradients look fine. It gets darker around the middle. It gets lighter where the light should be hitting. And her bows, pretty solid in there, not moving too much. The details on the frills, though, those look really nice. Like, very nice small details. Don't see any errors with those, too. And again, on something so small, it's pretty cool that there are no errors going on with that. Moving down into the face and the eye patch, I mentioned it earlier. I kind of don't like that she's winking because I do like the heterochromia. I don't mind it though because she's supposed to be, you know, this playful, sexy character who is, you know, very flirtatious, very forward, very horny. And I like to imagine that she's like borderline femcel because she's just so horny, but no one ever fucks her. I'm sure there's a million fans that would love to, but you know, it's just one of those things where that's a majority. Well, not a majority. You know, I've seen enough streams that I know it's not a majority of her character, but it's one of those things where, oh, Marine, the horny pirate, right? It's like, yeah, the horny pirate. You know, no one ever talks about how she's a Toho fanatic. You know, but, you know, she's the horny pirate. Yeah. And that kind of comes into play with her figure here. You know what she's trying to do. She's trying to be the horny pirate. And, you know, it's working for her. Her expression looks really nice. You know, the cute little blush lines here. The kissing thing she's doing with her mouth. The fingers. We'll move down into the fingers in just a moment. But, you know, it all comes together to make this cute, playful pose. And, you know, even something as small as, even something that you normally wouldn't consider, like the pose of her arm on her head, you know, nice direct angle at that armpit. And there are some of us out there that like armpits, believe it or not. Though you're in the anime fandom and you're watching a video about Houshou Marine, pretty sure you know that people like armpits already. But let's stay with the face. Again, the eye patch coming off. Like this, I would rather it be either fully on her face or not on her at all. I get that they have to include the eye patch because she's a pirate. That's part of her character. That's part of her outfit. But I don't like its inclusion here. It feels like it's tacked on. And just from the looks of it, it looks like it's glued on right here at the front of the hair and then, you know, maybe in the back over there, but it doesn't look, you know, I don't like it. That's not to say it's poor craftsmanship. It is indeed fine, but I don't like it. And one thing to note too, the black strap doesn't actually go all the way around the back of her head. So one thing to note about her eye patch there. Although you could argue because it's coming off of her face that it's already been loosed from the back of her head and she's letting it, you know, fall off her face and the straps are just still caught in her hair, which you could say that, you know, that's fine as well. So, you know, just getting around the shoulders, the neck here, looking at this little neckerchief, it has her symbol on it again. It looks really good. The line is, you know, well painted. It's a nice maroon color and I like, it's a deeper maroon than like the rest of her outfit. And even with the light on it, it is still just a slightly darker shade of maroon. I like that. And, you know, it's all looks really good. There's no paint error that I can see on that little gold and blue medallion in the middle. And to extend that outwards to like the rest of her chest area up here, there is a little bit of a paint error on her little ship on her chest. There's red where there should be gold. It looks like it was scratched off. That's a damn shame. And to be on, you know, something so prominent and forward, like it's basically on the tip of her tit. And that's going to be sticking out, and anyone is going to look at that and notice it. And that kind of feels bad. You know, the craftsmanship on this, as large and impressive as it is, has not been the best so far. But if we do continue to take a look, you know, the back of the shoulders, the arms, nothing to stand out here. Like I was talking about this armpit earlier. That's a well sculpted armpit. And you can even see like this little bulge where it meets the shirt. Like that's, you know, the start of where, you know, the pectoral muscle is. That's where the breast starts, kind of thing. And so that little squish right there, you know, that's it. That's it right there. Coming up into the arm and the hand, the glove actually looks really well done. It looks a little dirty, like a little gray than white, but, you know, to be fair, it should be, because, you know, she's a pirate. She's out doing stuff. She's going to get her hands dirty. And, you know, this glove, it looks well worn. It looks a little grayed. And I like that. Like, that's a good touch. It shows that she is, you know, doing something other than just, you know, cosplaying and being sexy. Those gloves look well loved. And I like that. Coming down into her other arm, you know, nothing too crazy going on here. It's just another pose. We can get another look up into this armpit where you don't get as much as that boob squish, you know, up towards that armpit. It's not going to happen there because she's not raising her arm and pulling, you know, that pectoral away, if you know how muscles work. But, you know, it's fine. It's inoffensive. The glove here also looks really well sculpted, well loved, well crafted. I like these gloves a lot. They look a little loose around the collar, around the wrist. I like that because, again, it looks like these are well worn, well used gloves. And, you know, of course you can see the little sculpt line right on her. You can see the sculpt line on her finger, which is a little bit annoying, but, you know, this pose that she's doing with her kissy lips, the fingers going up, it works. It works, it's sexy, and, you know, overall, it looks good. But now coming back down into, like, this shirt thing she has, I already mentioned the ship has a little bit of red on it. That doesn't look good. The rest of it, though, looks pretty well crafted. I don't see any paint errors, like, from the white to the gold or in any of these buttons. And these gold lines that run down her chest into, you know, the fringe at the bottom. It all looks well painted, well crafted. I can't really see around the back because the coat is in the way, and I'm not about to take the coat off now because, you know, I'm lazy. But, you know, from what we can see of her back, I'm sure it's going to be all right. And again, we're not going to be looking back there. We're not going to be looking at her back. We're going to be looking at her from the front. But you want to make sure just to see how consistent the sculpt is, how consistent the painting is, how consistent everything is. And right now, you know, I've had a few gripes, but it's nothing that I've never complained about before. The biggest gripe I have is this little red dot on her little gold ship. That's a shame. Coming down into the belly, though, that is a good looking belly. The skin suit that she's wearing underneath this outfit, it looks, you know, you could see the stitch line. You could see, you know, coming around the bend around her hips right there. It looks good. And even if you like lift up the skirt here to try to get a picture between her legs of her lower belly, that kind of thing, I am happy that they didn't include a camel toe because, you know, she's supposed to be sexy, but I don't want her to be overly sexy, you know? Like, I'm going to have people in my house. I don't want them to, you know, see this kind of thing and be like, dude, what the hell are you doing? You know? Like, I already kind of get weird looks with my fox girls in their bathing suits, you know, Kaga and Akagi. But this, I'm glad that they kept it, you know, as sexual as she is, as horny as she is. I'm glad that they kept at least that on the down low. Her belly button, it looks a little too well sculpted. Her belly button looks a little too well sculpted for my taste. It's one of those things where it's like skin tight, but like even on something skin, it looks like something that's like, it's skin tight, but at skin tight, it would not be like that skin tight. It would not be inside her belly button. And if it was, that would be hilariously uncomfortable. I don't like that part of the sculpt. Like, it molds around her muscles, sure, but like to be inside the belly button, like it's shrink wrapped into her belly button, that's just kind of dumb. It's kind of dumb looking. But hey, you kind of need that to continue appealing. Coming into the skirt itself now, I mentioned lifting the skirt, but what does the skirt itself look like? Well, I can tell you it rests nicely on her hips, and, you know, of course you can take it off. I'm not going to take it off, and I don't ever think there will be a situation where I do, aside from showing someone like, hey, look, you can take your skirt off, ha ha ha, but I'm going to keep it on. So I don't really see the necessity in it being able to be removed, but you know, that's just me. Other people are going to display it in a different way. Like someone else might display her with just the hat and not the coat and no skirt, you know? So it really just comes down to your personal preference. I don't judge because, you know, I have sexy figures myself. I know people that have sexy figures. It's whatever. But the skirt itself, you know, well sculpted. Again, it's a completely separate piece. So if I feel like they could have gone easier on it because it's not molded to the body. It's not like glued onto the body, stuck onto it or anything. So you don't have to worry about it bleeding onto the body. So looking at it, like this little zipper in the front, very cute, very well done. And like to see the detail in the zipper too, that's pretty good, honestly. The belt around her waist, you can tell that it's been loosened, or maybe it's just always this loose, but the belt is in the shape of an anchor too. That's cute. And even just coming around the sides, like in this white section to her front right, there does look like a little bit of that, like the edge bleeding where the bottom is red and the upper part is white. So it just kind of bled over. And, you know, again, that happens a lot. We saw it happen up top with the hat. We saw it happen with Aqua in her pink and white outfit. We're seeing it happen here again. That's just something that happens with anime figures. So it's not like I'm going to take off too much for it. But the craftsmanship has been consistent. Consistently average, or maybe even below average with something like that. Now that I'm going around the sides, you know, looking at all of these white lines, there are a few more questionable sections, but, you know, it's not something that's going to bother me too much. I'm going to point it out, but it's not going to bother me too much. As we go down this skirt into the legs, you know, she's got a fat ass. She's got some fat thighs. She doesn't have a thigh pinch, though. Not with these stockings. There's no thigh pinch again, really. And like I was saying with the Aqua figure, you know, Aqua doesn't have thighs that big. But with Houshou Marine here, I would have expected a much bigger thigh pinch. And there is none. So that's kind of unusual to me. And a little disappointing. Because, you know, if you get this good side angle, you can see she's got a nice round fat ass. She's got these nice big long legs. But then it comes to the point where her thigh meets the thigh high, and there's not too much of a pinch. Like there is, it pinches in, but then it just keeps going down into the leg. Like it doesn't pinch back out again. You know what I'm talking about? So I was hoping for a little bit more there, but it is what it is. You know, nobody's perfect. You can kind of see it on the bottom of the leg, you know, where the fat and the muscle is going to be sagging down. It gets pinched and pulled back up, but you don't really see that on like the sides or the top. So I would like that to have been a little more defined because, again, she's the sexy character. She's meant to be, you know, that sexy, that sexualized. And so, you know, a little bit of a missed opportunity right there. The rest of her leggings go down into the boots just fine. You know, the pattern up at the top of the leggings with the roses, that's cute. I like that. Not too much else to say about it, though, because it's very subtle. Very, very, like, you probably won't notice that unless you're looking closely at it. Like, you'll notice it from far away that there's something on there, but you won't notice it until you're close up. But now, looking at the shoes and the stockings themselves, you know, again, well crafted. The zipper looks well done. And I do like how they actually added that little brown gap in the zipper to show you that That's what zippers have. They have that little gap for, a string to put through if you needed that or whatever else. That's just a cute little detail. The gold fringe around the red boot, no bleeding that I can see. It looks fine compared to, the top of the hat. Looks good. The rest of the boots, though, pretty standard as far as shoes go. Their heels, their boots, they're well polished. Not really any sculpting errors, which I will say, despite all of the paint errors, no sculpting errors that I was able to point out. And that's pretty cool. We will go back up into the cape and everything before I do the stand itself, because this cape also includes the giant anchor chain, which if you can actually, we're going to start from the right over here on this anchor chain. You can actually see that the anchor is broken off, and you can see that this piece of anchor right here, it's missing its bottom half, whereas the other part of the anchor where it's attached to the anchor itself, the chain right there, it looks like it just snapped. So my question is, where is the bottom half of this chain? Because it doesn't seem to be anywhere on the stand, nor is it anywhere on her body. So just where's that little piece of chain? Is anybody going to really care? No, not really. But this anchor chain looks pretty good. And this is where, again, they're doing really big swaths, big brush strokes. And this is where right here I can see our first sculpting error at the very top right here behind her head. There's a little bit of, it looks like it was a popped bubble or something, or maybe just a bad sanding it down. But, the rest of these chains, it looks like they might have been put together. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. But, the chain looks well worn. Not rusted or anything, but definitely scratched up, beaten up by the sand, that kind of thing. Looks really nice. And, coming from the chain into the rest of her jacket, let's start up near the shoulders with these frills, the marine, she looks like she's going to, join the Marines in one piece. These little symbols up here and the material around it, that looks really good, really well done. It's pretty stiff too. You're not going to really be moving that around. Nice, well sculpted. These shoulder, I don't know what they're called, but these shoulder pads, I guess they are. They look really nice. And moving up into the fringe again, the red and the gold, I don't see a painting error here as well. And that's, a good sign. Despite the painting errors that we saw at first, the rest of it is kind of picking itself back up. And coming back into the sleeves, these cuffs, these sleeves are empty, so they're going to be a little bit more wild and, twisted, gnarled. I like that because she doesn't have her arms in these sleeves, so they're just kind of going however which way. And you're seeing a lot of motion in that material because of the way the arms are being twisted by these heavy looking cuffs. These heavy looking cuffs, really, really pretty, really well done. I think there's a little bit of a scuff right here on this anchor to her right. One thing that I did mention on my Akagi video was that I think it's dumb that you can't see down the sleeves, which I know that would add a lot more work. And, no one's going to care. No one's going to be really looking into it. But to just have this sleeve kind of like just be the cuff into whatever the hell is going on right here, it doesn't look right. Like, at the very least, if it were in a little bit more and you could see the black as the sleeve is being twisted up in itself and it just ended like that, that would make more sense. But to just have it look like an indented red gumdrop or something, like, I don't know. I don't like the way this looks. I understand that it was meant to, save time, save resources, and you really don't need to do that kind of thing. But it just does bother me a little bit. At the very least, for this left sleeve, you could argue that the cuff itself is being pinched together, but at that point, I would rather have it be pinched all the way together, so there is no chance to look into and down this sleeve. But again, that's not that, no one's really going to be caring about that. That's just one small, immersion gripe that I have. It's whatever. It's fine. The rest of these sleeves and this jacket, very well done. As we move towards the front, we have this cute stripe pattern, but it doesn't extend towards the rest of the inside. It's just on these like little, what are they called? Lapels, these fold outs. And that's kind of strange to me. Like, again, I don't remember her outfit one-to-one, and I'm pretty sure she does have these stripes, but logically, you would think the material would continue all the way inside and there would be more of these stripes, you know? But now that I'm looking at it, it looks like these are actually separate bits of material, while it's the big red cape that is the main thing itself. So maybe I'm just wrong in the actual craftsmanship of this particular cape, this, jacket. But it just does look a little strange that you have stripes here on this separate material and then solid red everywhere else inside and around the collar. It's all very well painted, well sculpted, but I mean, I guess that's just a design choice that I don't agree with myself. But yeah, as we move out of this cape, we will move into the stand itself. And me talking about a stand having personality, this one is awesome. And although it doesn't lend itself to, if you just saw the stand itself, you wouldn't know who it goes to. You might guess it belongs to a One Piece character, or maybe, some other pirate show that I don't know about. But, you see an anchor, you don't really think Houshou Marine, but with Houshou Marine sitting on it, you get oh, okay, I get it. She's trying to look sexy because, if for those of you who don't know this, she's not actually a pirate. She wants to buy her own boat and she's cosplaying as a pirate. So she's like, oh, I can see this happening in real life. This girl cosplaying as a pirate sees an anchor. She's like, oh, hey, let's take a sexy picture on that. And that's exactly what she goes and does, because she's got this fat ass sitting on this anchor with her, cheeks being squished up against it, her skirt billowing back, her, everything out on display. That's very in character for her. So I do really appreciate the fact that it's not a plane stand, that it is an anchor on a beach. And it doesn't have to be any specific beach. It doesn't have to be any specific anchor. But the fact that it is a little bit more in line with her character, I really appreciate that. Because like we had with Aqua, she has her stand, she's an idol, singing on the stage, leaning forward. Looking at my Shido, there's dolphins on it because she laughs like a dolphin with her squeaking. And, even with the, going for the more environmental stands, we have Kaga and Akagi, the first carrier division from Azure Lane. They are on the water, skiing on the water like they do in the show and the game. And it looks pretty cool because they're on the water. They're in their environment. Marine is on a beach with an anchor in her environment, even though, she should probably be on an actual pirate ship. But that's the thing. She's not a real pirate. She's just cosplaying as one. And like I said, the situation unfolds perfectly. Maybe she's at an anime convention that just happens to be near the beach, or maybe she was on the beach with her friends cosplaying for this photo shoot because they saw this anchor here. It's like, hey, we could take some pictures with this because we're pirates, ha ha ha. And, it works. And I like that. And, maybe I'm reading a bit too much into it, but I also see, zooming back out a little bit, with all of the bells and whistles on, this chain from the back of her coat really puts her into frame as well, because you have the roundness of this anchor pointing up, acting as her seat, and then you have the roundness of the chain in the back acting like the back of the seat, like the back of the couch, the back of the chair, that kind of thing. So it really puts her into this nice frame where even if you were to cut out just an oval that, cuts out her feet, maybe cuts out some of her hair, cuts out a little bit of the hat, that's still a really cool looking and dynamic portrait. And, that's what we were talking about with the Aqua figure, having your eyes move up and down all around. Of course, when you're looking at Marine, you want to put her at an angle so she's looking at you. And from this angle, you can see the dynamic of the hair blowing in the wind, the eye patch falling off, being taken away, the coat, its arms billowing backwards in this chaotic style. And then, of course, you're going to look down at her belly. You're going to look down at her legs. And then you notice, oh, she's sitting on sand. She's sitting on this anchor. And then this anchor is literally pointing back up towards the chain, which is going to bring your eyes back up around the chain, back to the top of her head, where you can go on that journey again. Oh, look at her hair being blown back. Look at her winking at me, looking at, you know, that pose she's doing with her fingers. Look at her belly. Look at her legs. Look at this anchor. Look at the chain. Look at her hat. The hat, you know, it's really good design because it kind of worked like with the anchor itself. The middle of it is coming down and out around, and you're going to be looking down the middle of this picture and then have your eyes come down, out, and around to see the details with these chains, with the arms flying back of this cape. It looks really dynamic, really cool. And despite all of the flaws that we mentioned, I really like this figure. Now, would I recommend this to anyone who likes hololive? Sure, if you like Marine. And, you know, that's kind of what this section of the video always boils down to. If you like the character, I would recommend buying it. There were no really outlying issues that I would say don't buy this. And I think that only ever happened like once or twice, where that was the Kaga and Akagi, where the sculpt completely messed up their faces. So I'm like, don't buy this shit. But here, not really anywhere to mess up. Not really anywhere except for, you know, the little paint errors, which is always forgivable. I will see about if I can do anything about the little ship on her chest because of that little red smirch, which it's unfortunate and I don't like that, but, you know, shit happens. That's just the way the news goes. But, you know, overall, very fantastic figure. If you like Marine, you should buy it. If you haven't already, it might already be out of stock and you might have to buy it from a scalper, which, you know, I am guilty of as well. Sue me. But I mean, yeah, if you like Marine, shut up. If you like Marine, if she's your favorite, 100% buy it. Would highly recommend. You can pose her however you want. You can put her with your sexy figures, you know, by taking off her skirt and having her be sexy like that. Me, I'm going to put her probably somewhere around my VTuber figures because, you know, I have my Shido shrine, my Aqua shrine, and then, I don't know, I guess I'll put her in front of my content calendar I have up there, just up on my desk. I feel like that would be the most appropriate spot. Or maybe like under my TV over here where I have all my games and stuff where I, you know, watch VTubers. So, like I was talking about with Aqua, how you want to display her. Honestly, if you look down at her, it's fine. If you have her, you know, up above you, you get a really nice angle of her legs and ass and armpit. So that's fine. You know, if you have her at eye level, you know, it's a feast for the eyes. She is fantastic and sexy, and this figure overall is very well done. Most of that does come from the dynamic pose, the good characterization, the good personality put into it. But again, small technical errors here or there. Every figure is going to have them. Look out for the ones on yours. Make sure it isn't like too overwhelmingly obvious. Kind of like, you know, how every time I look down at her boobs, I look at the sailboat on her thing, on her boobs, and then I see that little red smirch, and it really annoys me. Look at this doofus. Well, I have to take him out because he's been begging for like a half an hour, even though it's earlier than you usually go out. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me know what you thought of this figure. Let me know if you thought, you know, if you got it and you had a few more paint errors than I did, or if you had a sculpting error somewhere, because, you know, again, all these figures are going to be different, and it's the different little bits of them that, you know, make them yours. And for me personally, I don't know where I'm going to put her. I might just leave her on this coffee table in the middle once we clean it off and just have her be the centerpiece of the coffee table, honestly. But, yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you had a great time watching this video. Let me know also what other figures you're looking forward to in the hololive universe. For me personally, probably only just going to stick to a lot more Nendoroids for now because Aqua is my favorite. Marine, you know, top 3, top 5. You know, I'd like to get Korone and Okayu, but I don't know if they have like super huge scales like this just yet. I don't remember. I know they have like Pop-Up Parade, like there's Fubuki Pop-Up Parade, But I'm not that into them that I would get their pop-up parades. Like if there was another like cheap prize Aqua figure, I would get that. But yeah, I'm rambling at this point. It's almost been 50 minutes in my recording, but half of it I'm cutting out because a lot of it is my dog being annoying because he wants to go out, but it's not even 9 a.m. and he usually gets taken out at like 10, 11. So I gotta take my dog out. Come say hi, Bear. Come say hi to the camera. Come here. Look at him. Look at this poor, sad puppy. You stink, dude. All right. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you cats later. Be sure to follow me on twitch.tv/LeoDickinsonTV and on Twitter, twitter.com/LeoDickinsonTV. And be sure to subscribe to this channel as well. Thank you very much. Welcome everybody to part 2 of our hololive figures. We have... I don't like that. Bear, no. I'm busy. Give me like 40 minutes, okay? No. Get him. What, do you want to review Marine too? No, Bubba. No. I'll take you out in a little bit. It's still like an hour before I usually take you out. So relax, dude. No. I love you, Bear, but you are annoying. He is a husky. He can't help it. No. Alright. What was I saying? Look at him. I forgot what I was saying. You know what? I'll open the shade for you. Look out. Alright, sorry about getting distracted by my dog, but anyway. Shut up, I'm busy. You can see the little sculpt line right on her finger, which is a bit annoying. I said no. My dog is pacing because he wants something, but it's still an hour before I usually give it to him.